Hello, everybody. Here we are. We come once again for the West Coast Fishing Report with Captain George, me, Captain Sergio, and at the other end, controlling all those wizardry that we have is Capitan Jota, our producer, the guy who organizes everything. So if we have a problem, we can always blame him.
he keeps us going. He keeps us
That's
going.
right. That's right. Well, George, I tell you what, we had a couple of nice days last week. Nice day today. What a gorgeous day on the water today.
Today and unbelievable. Today and yesterday was really, really nice. I'll tell you. Nice. The fish were cooperative. Everything was really well. Yesterday, though, the bait was kind of non-existent. Today, I found it really good. So today was a great day.
I saw a bunch of bait in one of the canals today. A whole bunch of it.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
Yeah. I mean, it was bunch of it. But, I mean, today was funny. We started the day. I had my guy from England, just me and him. And we tried everything. The trout wouldn't bite. And I knew there was trout there.
Right.
I switched over to Saltwater Assassin. And I don't care what we put on the jig head, we caught trout. And we caught ladyfish. And we caught trout. And we caught ladyfish. And we caught trout. And I hit one spot. We counted at least 20, 25 snook sitting on the bank sunning. And I tell you, tried cut bait, live shrimp, dead shrimp. They weren't interested at all.
Yeah, my snook today, they weren't interested. And we had shrimp, we had white bait, cut bait. They weren't really interested. The redfish were taking the shrimp. We got some trout today on the little PNV. I've been throwing that brown glass minnow one. That one's been working really well for me.
Well, you know, the one I did good with today, really good. It was it was kind of like a lot of glitter, and it had a little bit of purple in it. And it had the little fork tail.
Was that the opening night? That might have been opening night.
Split tail.
Yeah.
I did really good with that. I did really good with my squiggly tail. You know, the root beer.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. We tried both of those, you know. So
yeah. I got mine, the brown glass minnow. I like the green glass minnow and the brown glass minnow because it gives you two different options on, like, depending on how the water clarity is and stuff. But the brown glass minnow, I think it imitates a little bit. It's got that shrimpish type of color. And then it's got the other side has like a silver glitter in it. So it catches the sun and flashes. You and me both agree. We love having glitter.
Oh, I love glitter.
Yeah,
I think that was a big thing today. It was anything that had a little bit of glitter in it.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I mean, we knew. Oh, we caught some sheephead today too. Yeah, we caught mango snapper, sheephead, trout, and ladyfish. And boy, I found some new spots that, you know, that grass that we talked about.
Yes.
It looks like I found another spot that I'd never seen it there, and there was a bunch of it. I marked it because the water was so clean that I saw a dark spot, a place that I've never seen it. And I pulled up on it, and sure enough, it was the same type of
bottom,
like a sargassum grass.
Yep.
And that's almost, hey, let me tell you, that's good trout grass.
It almost, it almost, because of what's happening, because it's abnormal. It'd be a good time when you have people have spare time or whatever. Be a good time just to go out and explore because the stuff is so tall you can see it, so it's easy to find, new spots doing that.
And it's beautiful. And I mean, it's beautiful stuff.
One of my sheepshead spots that we fished today had that stuff growing on it. It wasn't tall enough to see at that spot, but every once in a while we were pulling up. It was getting stuck on the hook, and we were pulling some of that up. With the little balls on it. And a while back, one of the spots I took you to that we were catching grouper and the mangrove snapper, that stuff grew up and the fish were actually smart enough to use it to dehook themselves. It was the craziest thing.
Well, that goes to show you. But I wonder, all of a sudden, this stuff is really taken off.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing because I tell you, that type of grass is fantastic for trout. Now, if anybody wants to comment on this that is watching, let us know. But it looks like a sargassum grass. It's like what you see in California. I mean, this stuff is 3, 4,
6
5 foot, 6 foot long.
Yeah, it's tall because some of the areas are 7 foot deep and it's touching the top of the water.
Right.
See, I've seen it before, like years ago.
Not in that quantity.
Right. But I'm saying I've seen it before years ago in heavy quantity, but down by the Skyway. I've never seen it in the areas that we're seeing it now.
There was a place close to you that I found some years ago, and it's still there. It was a little clump of it. And and this time of the year it did really good with trout. But where I'm seeing it now, it was never really there.
No,
or if it was there, it wasn't growing, and it
no.
grew like crazy.
Yeah, somebody, who knows? Maybe the Piney Point water is making it grow. You don't know.
Yeah, it could be
A different kind of nutrient in the water, you know?
I like to find out what kind of grass it is. I'm going to call Gina from
Yeah.
FWC and see if she can tell me what kind of grass it is.
What I could have did today was, I could, because like I said, we got snagged on some of it and pulled it up. I could have taken a picture of it and then do the Google search.
I got a picture of it.
Do you?
Yep.
Well, you can do, if you have Google on your phone, you can go to the Google Lens, it's called, and it will actually find a picture similar to yours with the definition.
On Google what?
Lens, Lens.
Is that that's what it's called?
Yeah, like a camera lens.
Uh-huh.
So it's Google Lens. And if you have the Google app on your phone, or you can even probably just look it up, but it's the coolest thing because any picture, it doesn't matter what it is, it will find it for you.
So if you're going to Google and then put Google Lens, it's going to show up.
It should, yes.
And then you just put the picture in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll
I
find
do
out
it. I haven't done it on my computer. I do it on my phone because I've got Google, like the Google app is on my phone. And when you open it up, it has the lens option already there. So you click on it and then it goes to your photos on your camera. And then you just select what photo you want to look for.
Okay.
So on your computer, I don't know how, I haven't done it on the computer, but I'm sure if you Google it, it'll pop up.
I'll try that because I like to know what type of grass it is. I like it. I think when I was looking at it, the way it looks, I said, you know what? It'll hold some big trout.
Yeah. I just don't like that it's getting so thick. It's almost getting in the way a little bit.
Well, remember, we got real low tides. When we get normal tides, I think it's going to be okay.
I don't know. It might create a lot of snagging because you definitely got to fish between it. That's for sure.
We got a Rolando Alonso sheepshead. Yep, we got some sheepshead today. I mean, I've actually found a couple of docks that I could see a few sheephead, which is better than I was doing last week.
Yeah. We got sheepshead today to 17.5 inches, which was real nice for inshore.
So let's see. Maybe they're coming in late because earlier in the season when they were supposed to be here, the real big ones weren't here.
It's been a weird winter, that's for sure.
And I tell you, I mean, this morning it got hot. I took my insulated undershirt off and put my t-shirt back on. And then when I started running the boat, I felt like somebody opened the freezer door again.
Yeah, that's funny. I think tomorrow, because because today, last couple of days of my charters, I've been wearing a long cotton shirt underneath my guide shirt, a sweat jacket, and then I put the rain jacket on to go throw the net. And I usually leave that on because it stops the wind from going through your clothes. And the last 2 days, it's gotten hot. Like by the end of the trip, I'm shedding like you wouldn't believe. And I think tomorrow I'm not going to wear the long shirt underneath.
Well, I mean, tomorrow I think it's going to warm up some more, but
still going to be cool in the morning here. I'll tell you in a second.
I don't know why we got to keep getting all this wind. It's going to be windy again.
I know. I don't need this wind tomorrow. I have a guy that I've never fished before. It's a new client. And the other day he goes, I was saying, well, we could get on some sheepshead. We can do some redfish. He goes, well, redfish is kind of slow. And, and he was just rattling on. He goes, and I don't want to go on a boat ride. And I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, oh, one of those. I was like, it's like, let's insult your captain before you even go out with him.
That's not a good way to start,
No. And it's like, well, how'd you pick me? I mean, if you Googled me and you see nothing but 5-star reviews, why would you make the comment of I don't want to go on a boat ride?
Right.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow with that one. The guy that I took out today was real fun, easy going. I met him last year at the boat ramp. He had the unfortunate thing of going out on a bad charter. And it was one of those company charters, like where a company just puts all the charters together and they get some young guys to run the trips. And he said, we caught one mackerel. He goes, we rode around more than anything. And then we got a few ladyfish, and that was it. He goes, and then when we got back in, because we only had one mackerel, the captain's like, well, that's not really worth me cleaning. Why don't we just give it to the next trip I'm taking out? I was like, wow. So his buddy talked to me. I showed him what we caught that day, and we did good. We caught some nice redfish and stuff. So here it is 1 year later. He called me up. Hey, we're back down. We want to try you this time. And we did good. We got a mix of fish. We got his first cast. He caught a grouper right off the bat. So he was just tickled pink, like, oh my God, we caught a fish. You know, like that's how bad his last trip was. And I don't know, we probably caught 20 something fish today, probably about 25 fish. And it was
that's the same with I had at least 20 something trout today.
Yeah.
And we had about 8 or 10 mango snapper and 3 or 4 sheephead and tons of ladyfish.
Yeah.
Oh,
we could have did the ladyfish today. We caught a few and then we moved, but they were fun.
But the ladyfish were mixed in with the speckled trout where we were.
Right.
So, I mean, you would cast and you could tell the ladyfish to just bump it.
Yeah.
And they kind of start pulling, they spit it. And then you get that one that, he comes up to the surface.
Yeah.
That's a trout.
And you feel this.
Right.
You feel that. And then, so like the one area we were fishing, it was like redfish were to the right. If you want to cast out to the deep and play with some ladyfish, you can. So it's kind of fun because it's a fun fish. People frown on ladyfish. Sometimes a ladyfish can save your day.
I mean, my guy was from England. He comes down. He hadn't been down in a couple of years. He came back down, and we went out. It's just him. We had a great time. But one of the things we need to remind everybody, don't forget this weekend is the boat show at the fairgrounds.
Right.
And I'll be there all 3 days with a booth. I'll be doing seminars all 3 days. George will be there Saturday and Sunday doing seminars. And what we're going to do is everybody that shows up to the seminar is going to get a raffle ticket. And then at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a drawing. And then we'll have another drawing at 3. And we're going to give away some Fishing Adventures Florida T-shirts and some other stuff. So, plan on being there.
So this time, that's the way we're going to work it. Everybody's going to get raffle tickets, but we're not going to have any drawings until 1 and 3. You're saying?
Yeah, because we got seminars at 11 and 12. So that from those 2 seminars we'll have a drawing, and then seminars from 1 and 2 we'll have that drawing at 3.
And they got to come over to the booth for the
come
drawing.
over to the booth. We'll give you a ticket. The drawing will be held at the booth, and you'll find out if you won or not at the booth. And there, you'll be able to get what you want, and we'll have it. And we're also going to have Mr. Lee asked me to bring some of his rods and reels. So we're going to have a real red hot deal. If you're looking for a good 7-foot rod with a reel, let me put it this way. It's well worth your time to stop by the booth. We only got a few, about 6 or 8. And once they're gone, they're gone. But it's going to be a heck of a deal. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you anymore. You have to come over and look at it,
Yep. Yep. Can I be in the raffle?
Yeah. And Donald said, he's going to have his Fishing Adventures
Florida shirt.
And I'll tell you, those are really nice T-shirts, guys.
Right here. I got one on right now.
That's right. And I got one right. This is the navy blue. George has got the gray one. And these things are beautiful, man. They're really nice. So, and all you got to do is just show up for the seminar and listen to us. Also, we're going to have the inventor and the CEO of the Ballyhoop. He's actually going to have a booth there, and he's doing the part about how to catch bait without having to throw a bait.
Yeah, he's doing seminars.
So if I was you, that one you want to learn, and he's going to be there. And since he owns the company, he told me he's going to have some red hot promotions on it.
Yeah, he did last time. So
yeah, he really did. And he says, nope, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to make sure everybody gets a good deal.
Craig Lair says he hasn't fished in 14 weeks. He's shattered his wrist. Man,
Wow.
sorry about that. Hate to hear that, buddy.
3 more weeks to go.
Especially not right now. This is kicking in peak season.
How'd you do that, Greg? Come on now.
Man, get better soon. But what happened? Did you fall, or what happened there?
That is, so some of these guys think they're still real young, and a lot of them are playing ball and all of this, and that's why they get hurt. I had one guy the other day was telling me he's playing baseball, and I said, man, you're a little too old to be playing ball like that, trying to slide into a base, and he messed up his ankle pretty bad.
I was gonna say my sliding days are gone.
If you want to know about messing up your foot and all that, I got Captain Eddie Caldwell is watching. He can tell you. It took him about 6 months to recuperate, 7 months.
Yeah, he still ain't 100%, unfortunately.
No. But and we got another episode coming out, I think, next week on Fishing Adventures Florida. And by the way, again, we want to thank you. We're up as of today
over
12,300, not just
over
12,300 or something. So you never know. We've been amazed, thanks to all the viewers and the words getting out, and people just, I think we're 25 and still fishing. Yeah. Okay.
That's funny.
You be careful. Be careful.
Yep.
Don't get hurt.
Let's see. Manuel says he used to troll love lures, clear with glitter in canals. There's the glitter for snook. Yeah, especially I'll tell you what, in the wintertime when they really stack up in the canals, before it gets real cold, when they first stack up in there and they're still active, that's a real good way to troll the channels like that. And then we used to do you could troll the docks for grouper.
I used to do that all the time years ago, especially around Clearwater. Boy, those docks were red hot.
That's just a deadly way.
We used to use the little Rebel,
the red and white one,
the red and white ones, with the lip, and we used to troll just outside the docks. Go down one side, make a turn, come up the other, and we would pull some pretty big snook and grouper.
Yep.
In the fall, but this was out of the docks out of Clearwater. They're right there on the Gulf, and I guess those grouper would come in.
Yeah.
For some reason.
You get the same thing in like the Tierra Verde area, Madeira Beach area around here. Those docks will do the same thing because they're so close to the Gulf.
And the other thing, George, we got to remind everybody that March 1st, snook season opens up.
That don't mean you got to kill them, but
that's right.
It is open.
March 1st to April 30th. If you're not going to eat them, let them go.
Yeah.
Just take a picture and let them go.
Well, that's like my clients on Sunday. They caught a redfish that was like right at 27. Like you could have kept it. You should probably would have been all right. But I pretty much was like, you know what? I said, this is getting into the breeder stage. I said, why don't we let this one go? And they did. The next one they caught was 23.5, and they decided to keep one redfish. And there was 2 of them. They could have kept 2, but they kept one redfish, and that was nice because at least the bigger breeder one, they let go.
We got
Captain Anthony. Yep.
He's on there. And Greg, how did you mess up your wrist, man? You must have been playing ball or something.
Come on, you could tell us. Don't be bashful.
Wasn't throwing the net. Oh, wait a minute. Did you slip in the boat and try to stop yourself?
No, it was probably something more embarrassing, like tripped on a carpet at home or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, go ahead and just say you slipped on the boat. It sounds better.
Yeah, right. I broke my wrist defending a woman in a store.
Yeah,
good story.
That's a real good story. Well, let's see. We've got what do we do? Let's show Pam's.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pam's got quite a bit.
Yeah, let's show Pam's.
Oh my goodness, look at this monster. My first catch of the day. And these boards aren't big enough. I wish these guys would make bigger boards. But yeah, got the non-pitch tail. That's as far as the board goes. And there's the tail. Woohoo! Not bad for a fish. Thank you, Native, for a major cool boat. Tampa Fishing Outfitters for giving me the day off. Dart spin. And of course, my little 2500 BGMQ by Daiwa. All right, day 3 of pre-fishing in Panama City. Aqua Dream spoon. My first fish of the day. And get the tail between the lines. So, a little over 24. I'll be happy with a couple of those. Yeah, can you hear the wind? Holy smokes. Hey, welcome. This is Pam, and this week I was in Panama City. It was the second stop for the Florida Redfish Tournament. Our boundaries were from St. George Island to Destin. So, of course, I stopped at St. George first and found nothing but big overslot reds. They were so much fun on my light tackle. Dart spin found them all. Had to baby them in. I only had 20-pound leader on and 15-pound Daiwa J-braid, but landed 4 of those baby girls. Second stop was middle of Panama City, and I ran into James Falk. He was on some beautiful upper slot redfish. Here's a photo of him. He did really, really well, and I kind of changed it up after that. On day 3, I kind of fished a little closer to the southern end or more toward Destin and ended up with great fish, about 48 inches between 2 fish, but I changed it up and used the Aqua Dream spoon, as you can see in that one fish's mouth. They attacked it. It was great. It's an awesome search bait if you haven't tried it. Do so. Tourney day started out beautiful, flat, calm, looked like a beautiful lake until the wind came in. And of course, not being one of the younger kids, I was the last one to the flat. 6 kayaks and 3 boats already beat me there. As I turned the corner, James had the big fish of the tournament on his line and landed it. Beautiful big redfish. I got to work, found my first red almost right away, and found the little 19-inch. Took me a few hours later, but I did upgrade it, which landed me in 4th place out of almost 50 kayaks. So I felt really good about that, considering I didn't catch any fish the year before. And I'm also now in the lead for Angler of the Year. So our next stop is Jacksonville. May end up there this weekend. So I hope you like my traveling reports. And looking for tackle, drop by Tampa Fishing Outfitters and say hi.
All right.
Yep. And
Yep, that's good. I'll tell you, she spends a lot of time in that kayak, man.
yeah, she travels a lot, and Tampa Fishing Outfitters, that's one of our supporters. So definitely stop over there, like she said, and check them out.
You got to be dedicated to do that.
Oh yeah,
It's not something that you say, well, I'm like, no.
You gotta have time and money to be able to do that.
You got to be able to fish those tournaments, and you got to pre-fish 2 or 3 days ahead, because you don't just get there the night before and say, I'm going out tomorrow to fish this tournament.
Nah,
an area that you don't fish, you got to pre-fish it.
Yeah.
No
You got to pre-fish it, or you got to have a good network of people in different areas. Or you got to have a good net of people in different areas.
Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden, I got you like in a back room or something.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I heard myself just then.
Yeah, I got you like in a back room or something. Yeah, I'm getting a feedback now.
Yeah, I'm hearing you twice.
I don't know why.
I'm getting a feedback. Yeah, I'm hearing you twice.
Otto, what's going on?
Help us. No.
Good. Otto, what's going on? Yeah, let me
help us. No. Good. There's like a delay.
Let me make sure that I got this all the way down. All right. How's that? Better?
Yeah, that fixed it. That fixed it.
I tapped my screen and something went wacky in there.
Yep. Okay. So that's fixed it.
Now, let me tell you the schedule that we got coming up so you guys can see. Wednesday, we're going to be in Crystal River fishing with Captain Mike Haynes for the TV show. It's going to air later on. Then the week after that, we're going out with Captain Hal out of Chassahowiska, correct? And then the week after that, I think we're going out with who we're going the week after that. I lose track. You know,
Rick Lyles,
Rick Lyles. That'll be in the South Shore, and
then
then
Gavin O'Neill.
Gavin O'Neill.
Then we're taking a week off,
Give Hota a break.
and then Eddie Caldwell, the first Wednesday in April.
Hey, AK Mr. Snook. And then we got one coming up that's going to be in Stanahatchee on a Sunday that we're going to film.
Right. That's March 10th. Up. Looks like we lost Sergio. Oh, hopefully he'll be back in a second. Donald says, I love Rick Ross. Him and I have been friends for over 20 years. Yeah, Rick's a nice guy. I seen him Thursday, actually, when I did that tournament. We ended up taking second place in the tournament, so that was awesome. But yeah, I seen Rick tournament day. I think he was doing a event. He was doing a second event after that tournament. There was another event going on, and he ran past me. I was just fishing for myself, throwing some white bait, and he happened to be coming back in. He see me. We waved at each other. But yeah, Rick's always been a good guy. Don't worry, I kept us going. Yeah, I don't know. Stop touching stuff. He's messing with you. Did you make him? Did you make him mad?
I probably did. I mean, you never know.
But while you're gone, Don says that him and Rick have been friends for a while. And I was saying after your event, I was fishing just for myself, and Rick came past. He gave a wave. I waved at him, but he's always been a nice guy.
Oh, Rick, yeah.
Rick's,
I've known him for a long time now, and yeah, we've done. I like to use him in the charters because he's a hard worker just like you, and all these guys that I use, they all work hard.
Yeah, he fished Wes Burns' event afterwards. I'm pretty sure because he was out there with clients again. But he came past, he gave a wave, just easygoing guy,
All these. Now, did you notice too, guys? All the new construction that's going on the wall.
A lot.
That's scaring me.
Everywhere.
We got to put a stop to it. It ain't going to be Tampa Bay anymore. It's going to be Tampa apartments and condos. I mean, that whole point, Rattlesnake Point right there, that's all these apartments and condos going up. I mean, it's a shame.
Yeah, well, we definitely, one thing we got to do is we got to get a hold of somebody to try and put some shell and rock out there by the
Desperation
island.
Island.
Yeah, we got to save that island.
If not, I noticed all the big trees are down now.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
You can see them. They're dying. They're all dead. And if we don't do something, it won't last more than 2 or 3 more years. It's going to be nothing but a lime rock shell.
And that's on the Hillsborough side. So, it's going to be somebody Hillsborough-wise that we need to talk to.
Well, isn't the people from the on the Pinellas, though? What's the name of the artificial reef?
I don't know. You got Tampa Bay Watch. I'm going to
Tampa Bay Watch. I think they do everything.
I'm going to contact them myself and see what they say.
Because we could use some help with that. All we need is to put a bunch of old concrete stuff all the way around the island to stop the erosion. The backside is not bad.
Yeah,
it's the front side where all the boats run up and down all the time.
Yeah, leave the backside alone, but cover up, 2/3 of it. Start from just inside to inside, if you know what I'm saying.
North and south, from north and southwest.
Right.
Both points of the island, and just go west and go out about 10 feet with debris, and hopefully let it kind of build back up.
But it's really, and it's a shame because it's a really good fishing area.
So I mean, I just hate to see it because it's gonna wind up another one like Gilligan's Island, where it's just going to be a little bit of lime rock and nothing.
Yeah, and actually, if that island gets wiped out, it doesn't have the lime rock, so it's just going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean it's got some rocks, but mostly a lot of sand and some
Right,
rock.
right.
So
That's a good place. I mean, it holds bait. It brings. I mean, we've caught everything there from cobia, tarpon, and then of course snook, redfish, mango
and for you
snapper.
people that don't know Gilligan's Island, it's that little island as you go out of Hula Bay or you come out of Gandy Boat Ramp, you come around the point, is that first little island on the left. We call that
That's desperation.
Desperation Island. And that's not a bad fishing spot. But the trouble
No.
is in the last, and it's gotten really bad in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's increased going downhill real quick.
yeah. It's funny because years ago everybody would blow past the island to go do these tournaments, and then they would come back in, and that was called Desperation Island because that was your last stop to try and get the fish you need. And I used to do it different. I'd let everybody go, and I'd fish it first before it got hammered, and that used to work out for me. But now everybody does it.
Well, and especially in the summer, kids camp. Man, they go there all the time.
Yeah.
So that
yeah.
thing is getting hammered. But I'd like to see it protected at least.
Yeah, we got to do something. I'm going to call Tampa Bay Watch now.
You call them and I'll call them and see if we can get enough people calling them that they'll consider doing something.
Yeah, because that's a really good spot.
I hate to see that, that get hurt like that.
You want to go ahead?
One of the other things too is, I'm still thinking about this grass that we have. I want to find out what it is. I hope it's not something that's a bad type of.
I know. I'm a little concerned because it's thick and it's. I don't know if I like it. Right now, I don't like it, but
I've gotten big trout off of it.
Yeah,
I like it because I've gotten some big trout using artificials.
Roger Bird just said hello. How you doing, Roger?
Hey, Roger.
But yeah, I definitely want to pursue that with that island before it's gone because it's really once all those trees fall, that's it. It's going to be gone.
No, yeah. I mean, the trees is a little bit that's holding it up, but every year you see 2 or 3 trees rolled over and the roots up in the air, and then they just go down. Well, and not only that, in the summer, I see a lot of people are camping there once in a while.
Yeah, they are.
The backside has got a nice little beach, so it's a nice for the family.
You know what I seen on Thursday after your event, I was fishing there a little bit, and I thought this was really nice. And I yelled over to the lady. I said, "Oh, thank you for doing that." So she had herself, her husband, and her 2 kids, and they were running around with garbage bags, picking up any garbage they could find. And she made it like a fun thing for the kids to do.
There you go. And Joe says it seems like I'm seeing a lot more spear fishing. You're right.
Bad.
In the last 2 weeks, I've seen 2 or 3 boats spear fishing around Gandy Bridge and a couple other places.
Everywhere. And what I don't like is they're spear fishing some of the docks I fish. They're spear fishing some of the shallow water rock piles I have that are in.
Not good.
Yeah, and we're talking like some of them are in 6 feet of water. It's like, man, how much of a challenge is that?
We've got Charlie Howell on there. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. How you doing, Charlie? And Joe, I definitely agree with you. It's getting worse. And
we keep the way Tampa Bay is growing at such a fast pace. And like I said, we were just talking about all the construction on Rattlesnake Point there, everything else. Charlie said some people spear fishing the concrete plant the other day.
It's everywhere. Man. Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, how hard is it to shoot all the big sheep's head when you're in, over by the concrete plant? I mean, some of that area is only 4 foot deep.
Right.
And I'm seeing that a lot.
It's legal. It's legal.
Oh, I know. I got a dock that's loaded. Well, I didn't see them there today, but it's been loaded with really nice sheep's head. They won't bite now because they've been getting shot at.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. What the heck?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you better make sure.
Charlie, you're right. It's insane. I mean, why spear fish in shallow water like that? And those are places that people are fishing. You're going to ruin the fishing for everybody else.
And you better make sure that fish is big enough before you pull the trigger.
Hey, that's the problem when you're spear fishing. Underwater, fish always look bigger. Now, I know like our friend Roberto Lastra, when he goes spear fishing, he says it's got to look a lot bigger than what I think is the right size before I
Yeah,
try to spearfish.
Yeah, you got to be safe in that.
Because you look at a sheephead that looks 15 inches and you hit him and he's probably 11, because they look big underwater.
And the worst thing too is once you shoot it, you don't want to get in trouble. So then you're going to pull it off the spear and just drop it down.
And he's dead. It's gone.
Yep.
You killed him anyway. So that's kind of crazy. All right, let's go. Let's get Michael Dawson's fishing report.
Hi guys, Captain Michael Dawson here at Patriot Guide Service here at this week's fishing report. Out here the Anclote area, sitting here waiting on my next afternoon trip here. Main thing going on this week is lots of good shark fishing. Lots of big sandbar sharks have moved in through the area. They have been everywhere from the south tip of Anclote Island, north tip of Anclote Island, all the islands down south, coming out of St. Joseph Sound. They're a little bit of everywhere right now. Take a big half of ladyfish, big half of mackerel, something along those lines, throw them out there and you should do pretty well. If you're not looking for some drag pulling, drag screaming shark fishing, then we have lots of good trout in the area. Islands down south again, down there in the St. Joseph Sound, all the islands leaving the Anclote River, as well as the Gulf Harbor's rocks been home to lots of these nice fish. Big white bait under a bobber or a jig, something like a Little John XL, something like that on jig head have been working pretty well. Early morning, late evening have been the key. Get out there before all the ARP boats start hitting them. Once all the ARP boat action starts, they kind of slow down a little bit. So 6, 7 in the morning and then again about that 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, it kind of been the key times for them. Captain Michael Dawson, Patriotic Guide Service.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Little different. Somebody wants to go do some shark fishing. He's on them.
Well, it's this time of the year, you got people that call you for shark fishing.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
I don't want to just go shark fishing. It doesn't do anything for me.
I had that one time where they wanted to just go shark fishing, and it just worked out really good for me because I had been fishing down there by Fort DeSoto, and this is about 4 years ago. And there's a deep hole down there that sometimes in the summertime it gets loaded with black tips and bonnet heads, and I can't remember the other one. There's like 3 or 4 different kinds of sharks that would be in there, and we actually caught 25 sharks in like 6 hours. And but that's what they wanted to do. Me, I'd rather do something else, but that's what they wanted.
Charlie said that one of the couples that I gave them on Thursday, put them on bonnet. They went, the group that I had Thursday on this group charter, we had 37 boats. We're all Canadians, and I mean, to them,
Everything.
I had some of the captains that came and said, "You're not going to believe this," but some of my people spent until their phone couldn't take any more video. They were just taking videos of some of the manatees and some dolphin. And for us, you and I and all the guides, we see that all the time.
Yeah.
But somebody from Canada, man, they might have seen it on a movie or on something, but to have them come up next to the boat where they can actually, see it.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
Well, that's like today for me. I had 2 guys from Iowa, and the dolphin, 2 different spots. They came up and they were trying to eat our fish, but they were like, "Oh my God, look at this dolphin!" And then we saw 4 manatees today, and that was just, I said, "Oh look, it's a baked potato coming at you," and they were just like, "Oh my God, look at manatee!" And like you're saying, people that don't see that stuff, it's unbelievable. And then one of the manatee actually had a cobia on it, and we hooked it. The guy fought it. Got it right to the boat. It dove down. He pulled up and ripped it out of his mouth, but he still got to experience it.
Is it going to be a keeper? Or
No. It was probably going to be, I'd say, between 25 to 27 inches, somewhere around there. But still, on 10-pound test, it was a nice battle he had.
Yeah, Roger, you're right. I mean, sometimes we forget that we're living in paradise.
I don't. I really, because like I say it to my wife all the time. I said, people save up all year to come and vacation here. You got to remember that. I said, we live in the vacation land. That's the main thing I always try to remember. And it is. It's a beautiful place. I mean, think about it. Especially if you're young, you want to go to the beach. I mean, everything's here. I was fishing Big Island by 275 and 4th Street when an 8-footer swam under my kayak. Yeah, I'd hold my breath too.
Yep, I sure will. But if not, Donald, they love fresh meat.
I heard they like Wabermans.
Yeah,
I'm
they,
just
they
saying.
do. Oh, and they love kayakers.
Well, what you want to do when that happens, you want to splash your hand in the water really vigorously.
Oh, what you do is you fake them. You put a foot in the water, so when they go after your foot, they'll leave the rest of your body alone. See,
Right.
Hey, Donald, we're giving you all these hot tips, man, from two good captains.
Yeah,
How to take care of the sharks.
Yeah, I had a scare one time when I was like 30. I was wade fishing out there by the clam bar by the Skyway, and I had this deep hole that whenever there was a good high tide, you'd always get nice big redfish in there. And it was the good high tide, but it was really windy and the water was murked up and muddy looking. And I seen this stingray swim past me a few times. Well, guess what? It wasn't a stingray. It was a shark. When it turned, it came at me. Not fast, slow, but man, he got about 3 feet away from me, and I hit him in the nose with the back of the rod. And they say, if you hit their nose, they have a lot of sensory stuff there, and it'll do something to them. All I did was make him go like, really? That's all you got? And then he swam around me in a circle, and I was holding my breath like, oh my God,
Yeah, he probably said, "Hey, buddy, that wasn't a good thing what you did.
No.
I'm going to maybe get even with you."
Yeah, I was real concerned because I was pretty far. I was up to my chest in water. So yeah, I got back to land, and about 45 minutes later, I ended up getting the courage to get back in the water because I thought if I don't get back in the water at all, might not be able to get back in the water. So I had to force myself a little bit because
3 years ago I was fishing right there in front of Wheaton Island. And that 6, 7, 8 feet of water where we catch mackerel on the rocks.
Right.
And my client is bringing in a trout, and he says, "Captain, what's that big thing behind? It must have been a 7, 8 foot hammerhead.
Yeah.
It was swimming behind the trout, and there was a big hammerhead.
Right.
Now, you don't see too many of those in the bay. I know
Not that
they're
far
around
up.
the Skyway.
Right.
But this guy was a nice one.
We usually got to worry about the bull sharks up by us.
And they're mean.
Oh yeah, they're the poop heads of the bay.
Yeah, they'll take a nice chunk out of you. But all right, let's see. Why don't we get?
What about Tony's?
Let's get Tony Franklin.
Hi, Captain Tony Franklin back with you once again with this week's fishing report. This week we're still in the winter pattern. I've talked about it the last 2 or 3 weeks that I've done the fishing report. We're kind of got cooler water, cooler weather, but things are starting to warm up and things are going to start to change, and I'll go over with what's going to change coming up here. Right now we're still doing real well with the sheephead in residential canals, in larger canals. They're around oyster beds, catching some really nice ones around the docks that have the most barnacles, any type of structure, oyster beds with a deeper drop off. You want to fish that edge. We're using shrimp with the head pinched off, threaded through. We're also catching trout in these same areas. Also catching whiting. We're catching some jack crevalle. A lot of these fish are in the same area. We are catching some single redfish, although not really large. Some redfish are back in these channels also. So you never really know what you're going to catch back there. We're also catching some black drum. We're catching sand trout beside the spotted sea trout also. So 2 types of trout that we are catching. And shrimp has been the ticket. The snook bite will pick up as soon as the live scaled sardines come in. There's some around some of the Bay Area bridges, but right now the snook bite hasn't really turned on. Once you get this water temperature up to about 72, 73 degrees and it stays there, the snook will bite more consistently. Then we'll switch to the white bait for that. So look for the snook to start biting as the weather warms up, which should be around the corner. Looks like a pretty warm week next week. Some snook are biting on the white bait, the live scale sardines later in the afternoon in some areas. There's been action with bonnet head sharks also, small black tip sharks also. So there's been plenty of action out there. Shrimp is the ticket. Been better on the moving tides. The afternoon tides have worked better this week for action, but pretty much it's been steady on any type of tide. So don't let that bother you. If you can't get in that time frame, just get out on the water and do some fishing. Enjoy yourself. Have a nice time. That's my report for this week, and I'll definitely see you on the water.
Thank you very much, Tony.
All right, Tony, good information there.
Yep.
Yeah, anytime we get like like a week ago when we had those 3 like 78, 80-degree days. Anytime you get 3 of those days in a row, oh, I guarantee you by the third day, those snook will light up. But then we get hammered with another cold front.
I mean, today where I was at, the water temperature started at 65 and got up to 67.
Yeah, we're getting
But it
into
didn't
that.
get any higher than that. 67.7, I think, was the highest.
Yeah.
So
Um,
and it's got to be over 72, 73 consistent for those snook to really start getting active. They don't like this cold water. I mean,
Well,
like I said, I watched them today. I watched about 20, 25 snook sitting there, and we tried everything, and they just weren't going to bite.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though that I've noticed is the redfish, bigger redfish have moved into the area. Not in huge schools yet, at least not that I've seen. I'm not saying there ain't out there, but I'm definitely seeing some bigger reds lately. So that's kind of a good sign, which usually around Valentine's Day or a week after Valentine's Day, you'll start seeing the bigger reds move in. It just depends on the water temperature.
Well, let's hope that happens. And well, what about, let's get Michael Haynes, his fishing report in.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. We're out here today on a charter. We're bouncing the flats right now with some jigs and pinfish under a popping cork, catching a few trout here and there. Pretty slow but steady. They seem to be hitting that bait on the drop for the jig. Just using little Dudley, do nothing, little chartreuse tail on it. Doing pretty good, catching a few fish. And we got Jay back here using a popping cork. Just kind of a lazy way of fishing a little bit. But we've had a pretty productive day. You'll see the videos next to me here during the report. It's been a fun day. Caught a lot of nice redfish out and around the mangroves. Just kind of hitting every point, hitting behind the currents, behind the tide coming in the shadows. Shrimp, pinfish seem to be the bait of choice. Doing pretty good, pretty productive today. Looks like I think this week we're going to be fishing with Captain George and Captain Sergio. Looking forward to it, guys. I think the weather's supposed to finally work for us this week. And looking forward to seeing y'all. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.
All right.
Nice report.
Thank you, Michael. Yep. I'm kind of looking forward to going up there. I haven't fished up there in a long, long time.
Yeah, I would have liked to. Unfortunately, we had to move that because of the weather, and it landed on a day that I was already chartered, so I'm not going to be able to make that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Believe me, we got a long list between now and June.
Oh, I
nonstop.
know.
We're really making Hota work for a living. But you know what all we're trying to do is get enough ahead so that we can, kind of slow down and concentrate more. But the trouble is, the
weather.
Spanish show, we had 10 years of shows that we could air on these other places. But the American show, hey, you got to come up with about 24 a year, every year, to a month. And it's tough. It's tough. You got to get enough of them. And we rescheduled with Jared a couple of times, and with him we had to reschedule. And sometimes just because you say we're going to go out Wednesday, June something, that Wednesday might be a terrible day and you can't do it.
Oh yeah.
So
now, how many reports do we have left? I know you got mine.
We got yours.
Oh, okay, that's it.
So yeah, let's get yours because we only got about 10 minutes left.
Hey guys, it's Captain George Hastig of Fish Hunter Fish Charters coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida. Well, the bite's picking up and a good mix. Right now, we're kind of on the cusp of, warming up a little bit, but still having the cold. So we've got sheepshead around, we've got some mangrove snapper. We've definitely got some redfish that have moved in, and some larger redfish are starting to move into the area. So spring is right around the corner, but it's that time of year where we'll start seeing those larger reds from 25 to even 35 inches. Shrimp is still really working really well for me on the redfish. We have caught some on the whitebait, but I'm getting more on the shrimp. The snook are starting to come alive right now. And if you have whitebait, if that tide is flowing good, the snook are definitely kicking in on that right now. Now out in your deeper water, and when I say deeper, anywhere from like about 8 feet to 10, 12 feet. Get some good rock pile shell bottom, quarter ounce jig head, a little P&V by Saltwater Assassin, jigged along the bottom, and we're getting trout. We're getting actually hit some sheep's head on the jig, which was kind of funny, but we're getting sea bass also, along with like I said, some trout. So a good little mix. Some of the areas for the trout is like right where the drop offs are, where that grassy areas along your sandbars where it starts to drop into that little bit 5, 6, 7 feet of water. Those areas are definitely holding some trout. But you also have a different kind of structure where the shell bottom areas are holding trout also. So that's the kind of two textures that I would look for when looking for trout right now. The snook, basically, there's some around the docks right now. There's also some around like your spoil islands, and also like around your mangroves where you have cuts, anywhere where the water can flow really good to bring that bait to them. That's what's happening right there. The redfish, I'm catching them both at low tide and high tide, but they seem to be more willing to bite on the higher tides. That definitely is playing a key factor there. So kind of plan your day around it for what you want to fish for. I would say the trout and the snook are the ones that are more finicky about needing that moving water, where redfish will bite better on the moving water, but they'll also be a little bit more lenient. You can chum them, use cut bait, cut threadfin, cut pinfish, cut ladyfish, and like I said, shrimp. I like breaking the tail off for scent, and that's been working really well. The sheep's head, actually recently they kind of switched over on me, and I'm getting more on shrimp now, but still getting them also on the fiddler crab. So either is working pretty good. If you have to downsize, go down to like a 15-pound, 20 to 15-pound leader with a small number 1 hook. All right, this has been Captain George Hastic. Have a good day.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, the main thing there with the snook and the moving water, it's got to be when the water warms up a little bit. That's when they seem to get a little more active. And it depends on where you're fishing. Some areas the snook are more active than other areas. I've noticed that also.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
we're right. Yeah, we're right on the edge of it, to be honest with you. I mean, if we don't have any more cold fronts and then it stays going, warmer like this, next week could be like banner for snook.
I think Channel 8 was saying last week that this was probably going to be about the last really fling of a cold front till the fall. So I don't know. I don't mind the cold as much as I do the wind. The wind is what bothers me. The cold fronts, hey, I can tolerate those, but it's that wind that kind of narrows it down to where you got to hide in the creeks and the canals and everything else. So
Right.
Charlie says, hopefully see you at the boat show, guys. Yeah, Charlie, come on by, man. Bring the family. He does every year. He brings his the kids and his wife and
Right.
come over and visit us.
Yeah. Charlie's a good guy. He's a nice guy.
Oh yeah. And I tell you, the funny thing is, comment was made. Everybody says the Canadians sometimes are tight with their money. It was amazing. Every captain got tipped, automatic built-in tip on that charter, and a lot of captains got a tip on top of that. And some of them, I know, like Kevin Overstreet, he actually told the guy, he says, "Hey man," he says, "the tip was already included when they paid me." And the guy says, "Yeah, I know, but we had such a great time. We want to tip you." And
that's the same thing I got on my boat, because they were not used to what we have down here, being on the water like that. And like you're saying, they really enjoyed everything. And I showed them on the card, about the tip, and they're like, "That's okay," and they still tip me.
And the thing is, to them, it wasn't all about the fishing. I had quite a few people say, a lot of captains say, my people, two of the guys that were on his boat just said, "Captain, don't worry about what's on there. We just want to have a good time." And these guys were actually intrigued by watching these dolphins come by the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Jessica says, "Did you guys talk about your trip up here?" No, not really. We caught a little mix of fish. And You'll just have to wait till the show comes out.
That's right. We can't tell you anymore. You know, but you're going to see a lot more. She's up in what, Chassahowiska, up in
Up that
neighborhood.
way. Yeah.
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 Well, we're doing one with Captain Hell right there in Chassahowiska in a couple of weeks. So, and all of these will be airing later on in the season. But you'll be able to see that. You're going to see Stanahatchee. I haven't fished. I'll be honest with you. I've never fished Stanahatchee. I fished Crystal River, Chassahowiska, Bayport, Hudson, but I've never fished Stanahatchee, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah. And Ryan's a good, tournament fisherman. So I have no doubt he'll probably put us on some nice reds.
Yeah, he's in fact, the reason we picked that Sunday too is he's pre-fishing Friday, and then he's fishing the redfish tournament up there on Saturday. So he's just going to spend Saturday night, and then he says by that time I know where the fish should be.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
we're hoping everything works out. I'm hoping to.
yeah. And he's another one. I get along good with Ryan. He's always been a good guy, easy going.
I kind of missed him. I wanted to talk to him after the tournament, but I got so busy with all these people and trying to have the awards and all the noise that and he had to leave. But we're going to get together, chit chat a little bit, Now, George, forecast for this coming week. All I can tell you is, the fish are starting to bite. It depends how cold the water temperature is.
Right.
If it doesn't get that cold, if it keeps warming up, I think we're going to wind up having a pretty good week. If the wind lets you fish.
Because like Thursday, the day for your tournament, Thursday was beautiful weather.
It was almost flat calm the whole time.
It was nice out. It warmed up really good. And we ended up catching 10 snooks that day total. And it was only because of how nice the day was.
So, and the snook are there. It's just
getting them to
water
bite.
Temperature's cold.
Yeah.
They don't want to bite. It warms up. And like these snook that I saw today, they were all sitting on the bank getting sun because that was the warmest water. They were coming off this canal and coming up on the bank, on the sandy bank. And I told my guy, look, and we counted about almost 20 something snook, and they were all just sitting there, and you could throw on top of them, throw behind them, throw next to them. They didn't care.
And I've noticed that I've had fish like that, like say at one dock, move 300-400 feet to another dock, and those ones will bite. It's the strangest thing this year. And
that's what happened to us. We went to 2 docks today, and like nothing, and got to the 3rd dock. And I'm talking these docks are,
they're
50
close
feet apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 3rd one, we pulled about 8 mango snapper from it,
Yeah.
and 2 sheephead. And then the other 2 docks, one of them actually looked better than the one we were catching the fish on.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the one that didn't look as good, we were catching all the fish there.
Like I got a dock that has a lot of rubble underneath it and usually holds good sheep's head. And this year, for whatever reason, they're staying 2 docks by their friend's house, 2 docks down. They're not staying, and the one that's 2 docks down doesn't have near the kind of rubble that one has.
Yeah.
Now on the weather, so tomorrow, let's just say tomorrow's the last cool morning. It's at 56 degrees, and then it goes Wednesday 62 in the morning, Thursday 63 in the morning, Friday 65 in the morning. But the thing is 76 degrees on Tuesday, then 80, 79, 79, 77, 79, 82. So
that should turn them on.
That should be really good. Now,
go ahead.
Friday's going to be breezy and 10%. So that day might mess with me a little bit because of the wind.
But hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And we're out of time, guys. We want to thank everybody again for tuning in. And don't forget, please tell all your friends about Fishing Adventures Florida. Tell them to look at the shows. If they like it, to please subscribe. Hit that little bell so it reminds you that we have a show coming on. And the other thing, too, if there's any way you can make it, come by the boat show. We have a booth there. We're going to be doing seminars all 3 days. So come on by and talk to Captain George, talk to me, talk to Junior from Ballyhoop. His booth is set up close to the seminar stage because, they were basically sold out of booth. So they were able to put a booth there for him.
Right. Yeah, come by. We'll talk fishing.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Have a
God
good night.
bless you. Goodbye.